Hello, hello, love to you and your loved ones. I fill all of your DNA with golden light, love. I fill all your brain synapses with golden light and love. Phew. There you go. For the benefit of all sentient beings and recognition of the state of being of all states of being, we are all one. All right, I had an aha moment. I got it from the Ascension Mysteries, but it's not about any conspiracy theories or interest or out there stuff like that. This is just a psychological concept that I never heard about, which is highly connected to um, self-healing and understanding why we seem to have these subconscious patterns. And it really, really helped me. So, and just help understand how the human psyche works. And it's called repetition compulsion. I guess coined by Freud. And I'm going to read some of what this guy, Dr. Bessel A. van der Kolk, wrote in The Compulsion to Repeat the Trauma. Okay? So, well, I'll just read it and then I'll talk after. Okay, so many traumatized people expose themselves, seemingly compulsively, to situations reminiscent of the original trauma. These behavioral reenactments are rarely consciously understood to be related to earlier life experiences. This repetition compulsion has received surprisingly little systematic exploration during the 70 years since its discovery. Okay. Reenactment of victimization is a major cause of violence. Criminals have often been physically or sexually abused. Self-destructive acts are common in abused children. In one study of adults who had recently been in accidents, 57% showed behavioral reenactments and 51% had recurrent intrusive images. At least 4 studies of family violence have found a direct relationship between the severity of childhood physical abuse and later marital violence. Interestingly, non-human primates subjected to early abuse and deprivation also are more likely to engage in violent relationships with their peers as adults. Okay, some traumatized people remain preoccupied with the trauma at the expense of other life experiences and continue to recreate it in some form for themselves or for others. War veterans may enlist as mercenaries, victims of incest may become prostitutes, and victims of childhood physical abuse seemingly provoke subsequent abuse in foster families or become self-mutilators. Still others identify with the aggressor and do to others what was done to them. Clinically, these people are observed to have a vague sense of apprehension, emptiness, boredom, and anxiety when not involved in activities reminiscent of the trauma. Very counterintuitive, but we know it's true because either we've done it or we've seen people in our lives around us that have done it. Many observers of traumatic bonding have speculated that victims become addicted to their victimizers. Urshak asks why the batterer does not stop when injury and pain are apparent, and why does the victim not leave? He answers that they are addicted to each other and to abuse. The system, the interaction, the relation takes hold. The individuals are as powerless as junkies. Van der Kolk goes on to reveal that this addiction is actually biochemical in nature. The body has natural opioid systems that release the same basic chemicals as heroin or morphine. When we engage in repetition compulsion of our traumas, we are actually getting high from it. This is dangerously addictive, creating a full-body pain relief sensation called stress-induced analgesia. Okay, last section here. Starr, Solomon, Urshak, and others may be right in postulating that people can become physiologically addicted to each other. High levels of stress, including social stress, also activate opioid systems. Animals exposed to inescapable shock develop stress-induced analgesia when re-exposed to stress shortly afterward. We found that 7 of 8 Vietnam veterans with PTSD showed a 30% reduction in perception of pain when viewing a movie depicting combat in Vietnam. This amount of analgesia produced by watching 15 minutes of a combat movie was equivalent to that which follows the injection of 8 milligrams of morphine. Very, very interesting. Depending on which stimuli have come to condition an opioid response, self-destructive behavior may include chronic involvement with abusive partners, sexual masochism, self-starvation, and violence against self or others. This pattern is reminiscent of spouse abuse described by Walker. Tension gradually builds, an explosive battering incident occurs, and a calm, loving respite follows. Now, this really explains a lot. Like, why do we keep attracting the same, even subconsciously? Like, we don't even know why this happens, but we do know, or how this happens, but we do know that we keep attracting the same D-bag, or same abusive type of guy, or the same emotionally unavailable woman, you know? So it's like, without us even thinking, our lives, you know, we're projecting this out without really knowing it. We're projecting this deep, deep trauma from our past that's deep-seated, and we are reenacting it over and over. And we're actually getting a relaxation from getting a reenactment of the original trauma, which seems counterintuitive, but we know it's true because we've done it, and we have friends that have done it. So I thought this was really interesting to tell you guys about, because, you know, I'm always about how to heal yourself, self-healing, preparing for ascension. But even if you don't believe in ascension, just self-healing is always very positive and something that the world needs, because if you heal yourself, you heal humanity. All right, later.